I used to work the night shift at a gas station outside Amarillo, Texas. Worst mistake of my life. The place sat right off a lonely stretch of highway where truckers stopped around 2 or 3 a.m. Most nights were dead quiet. Just me, stale coffee, and the sound of bugs hitting the windows outside. But there was one rule my manager told me on the first day. If someone knocks on the bathroom door after midnight, don't open it. I laughed when he said it, thought he was messing with me. He didn't laugh back. A week later, I understood why. It was around 1:40 a.m. during a thunderstorm, hard rain, no customers for almost an hour. I was restocking cigarettes behind the counter when I heard the bell over the entrance door ring. A tall guy walked in wearing a soaked black hoodie. Something about him immediately felt wrong. Not dangerous exactly, just off. He didn't look at me, didn't grab anything. He just walked slowly toward the back hallway where the bathrooms were. I remember calling out, "Bathrooms are for customers only." He stopped walking. Then he turned his head toward me. Not his body, just his head, and smiled. I still think about that smile sometimes. He disappeared down the hallway. A minute later, the lights flickered once. Then I heard knocking. 3 slow knocks from inside the women's bathroom. I froze, because I suddenly remembered what my manager said. Don't open it. The knocking came again, then a voice, soft, weak. Help me. It sounded like a woman crying. Every instinct in me wanted to go check, but something felt horribly wrong. The man had walked into the men's bathroom. I knew that for a fact. So why was the voice coming from the women's side? I grabbed the counter phone and called my manager. No answer. The crying got louder. Please, he won't let me leave. At that point, I was seconds away from unlocking the hallway door when I noticed something that made my stomach drop. The security monitor. We had an old black and white camera pointed down the hallway. And on the screen, the hallway was empty. No man, no movement, nothing. But the crying was still happening, right in front of me. Then the knocking stopped. Complete silence. A few seconds later, the women's bathroom door slowly creaked open by itself. I stared at the monitor, still empty. But in real life, the door was moving. That's when I heard footsteps, not from the hallway, behind me. I turned around so fast I almost fell. No one there. Then I heard breathing. Close. Way too close. Right beside my ear. A voice whispered, "You should have opened the door." I ran. Actually ran out of the store into the rain without even grabbing my keys. I sat in my car shaking until police arrived. They checked the entire building. Nothing. No man, no signs of anyone inside. But one officer pulled me aside before leaving. He asked me something strange. Did the voice ask for help? I said yes. His face went pale. Then he told me 3 years earlier, a woman had been murdered in that bathroom during a night robbery. The killer was never caught. I quit the next morning. And to this day, I can't stop thinking about one thing, the security footage. Because before police left, one of the officers replayed it for me. At exactly 1:43 a.m., the camera caught me standing alone in the hallway, talking to someone that wasn't there. During college, I worked overnight security at a hospital in Ohio. The pay was decent, but nobody lasted long on the night shift, especially in the old wing. The basement down there connected to storage rooms, maintenance tunnels, and an abandoned surgery unit that had been closed since the 90s. Most guards avoided it. One night around 3 a.m., I got a call from a nurse asking me to check the basement motion alarms. She sounded nervous, said they kept triggering near the old operating rooms. I grabbed my flashlight and headed downstairs. The elevator ride alone felt wrong. You know that heavy silence hospitals get at night? It was like that, but worse. The basement smelled old, damp concrete and bleach. As soon as the elevator doors opened, I heard something metallic hit the floor in the distance. Clang. Then, silence. I called out, "Security!" No response. I started walking the hallway. The motion sensor light at the far end kept turning on and off, like someone was moving just outside its range. At first, I assumed it was maintenance staff, but when I got closer, I realized something strange. The footprints on the dusty floor were barefoot and wet, like someone had walked through water. I followed them. The prints led straight toward the abandoned surgery unit. The doors were chained shut years ago. At least, they were supposed to be. That night, the chain was lying on the floor. The doors were open, just slightly. I should have called for backup. Instead, I pushed them open. Inside was complete darkness. My flashlight barely worked in there. Old hospital beds covered in sheets, rusted equipment, cabinets hanging open. And then I heard humming. Someone quietly humming to themselves, coming from one of the operating rooms. I followed the sound, slowly. The humming stopped the moment I reached the doorway. My flashlight landed on a wheelchair sitting in the center of the room, facing away from me. There was someone sitting in it. Long, dark hair, hospital gown, not moving. I said, "Hey, this area's closed." No response. Then the wheelchair slowly turned toward me on its own. Nobody was sitting in it. The humming started again, right behind me. I spun around. Nothing. But the operating room door slammed shut, hard. I dropped my flashlight. The room went dark instantly. And then I heard footsteps circling me, bare feet on concrete, fast, closer every second. I couldn't see anything, just breathing and whispering, over and over, "Don't let them cut me again." I finally got the door open and sprinted back to the elevator. But before it closed, I looked back down the hallway and saw someone standing under the flickering light. A woman in a stained hospital gown, head tilted sideways, watching me. The next day I asked an older nurse about it. She got quiet, then told me a patient died during surgery in that basement unit decades ago, after doctors operated on the wrong person. Apparently after that, night staff kept reporting humming in the old halls. I quit 2 weeks later, but sometimes I still wake up hearing that voice in my head. Don't let them cut me again. My uncle worked as a night janitor at an elementary school in rural Pennsylvania. He told me this story once, and I genuinely wish he hadn't. The school was over 70 years old, small town, 2 floors, creepy even during the daytime. His shift started at 11 p.m. after the cleaning crew left, and according to him, there was one hallway everyone avoided, the kindergarten hallway. Teachers complained about hearing children laughing there at night, even when the building was empty. My uncle didn't believe any of it until one Friday night. Around 2:15 a.m., he was mopping near the cafeteria when the school intercom suddenly crackled to life. At first, it was just static. Then a child's voice said, "Can someone help me?" He thought maybe another staff member was messing around. Then the voice came again. "We're still here." The call ended. My uncle radioed the security guard. No response. A minute later, the intercom activated again. This time the voice sounded closer, crying, "Please don't leave us in the dark." That's when the hallway lights shut off. Every single one. The entire school went black, except for the emergency exit signs. My uncle said the silence afterward was the worst part. No air conditioning, no buzzing lights, nothing. Then he heard footsteps upstairs. Small footsteps, running, dozens of them. He grabbed his flashlight and slowly went upstairs, thinking maybe someone broke in. But when he reached the kindergarten hallway, the motion lights turned on one by one ahead of him, like something invisible was walking down the corridor. The classroom doors started opening slowly, one after another. Creak, creak, creak. And then he heard children laughing. Not normal laughing, weak, distorted, like old recordings playing underwater. My uncle backed away immediately. That's when he noticed something written on the hallway wall, in what looked like crayon. Why didn't you save us?" He swore that message wasn't there earlier. Suddenly, every classroom door slammed shut at once. The entire hallway shook. Then came the screaming. Children screaming from inside the classrooms. My uncle ran to the nearest door and pulled it open. The room was empty, but all the tiny desks had been turned toward the doorway, like something had been sitting there watching him. Then the intercom came back on, loud. A little girl whispered, "He's coming back." At that exact second, my uncle saw a tall shadow move across the end of the hallway. Not walking, gliding, toward him. He ran downstairs and locked himself inside the janitor's closet until sunrise. The next morning, he told the principal everything. The principal went completely silent, then admitted something horrifying. Back in the 1970s, a boiler malfunction caused a nighttime fire during a school event. Several children died in that exact hallway before firefighters could reach them. After hearing that story, my uncle never worked another night shift again.